and just letting go of whatever your day has held. And we'll bring Arya Tara into our heart mind. Arya Tara is the energy of all accomplishing wisdom. So there are 5 Buddha families, and the Buddha families represent aspects of the awakened mind, different qualities. So Arya Tara's family is called the all-accomplishing wisdom family. She's green because she's connecting with the element of air. So the 5 families also have, like when we hang the prayer flags, these 5 colors are on the prayer flags. The green is connecting with air. The red, Amitabha, is connecting with fire. That's the lotus family. The yellow is the jewel family that's connecting with earth. That's the Ratna family. The blue is the Vajra family that's connecting with water, and that's the Vajra family. And then the white is connecting with space, and that's the Vairocana family, the Buddha family. And so these 5 colors on the prayer flags represent our 5 families, as well as the 5 elements. And each of the 5 families have different qualities. So Tibetans are great because they made a lot of lists. They took a lot of the Buddha's teachings, and because they were receiving them and they were all new to them, they kind of categorically preserve them in these lists. So when you start to learn, it's very easy to start to memorize, like, oh yeah, what is that green color? Why is Tara green? That's what I asked Rinpoche once. Why can she be white? Why can she be red sometime? Oh, there are 21. Why can she be yellow? So, you start to ask why these appearances show up the way that they do. And there is a reason. So the reason is on this kind of relative level, these elements are the elements that we think of also that we have as part of our body, right? We all have wind, we all have fire. Do we have fire? Are you feeling your fire these days? I hope so. You're in your winter time, good, and we need our passion. So here now we're in winter and the nuns don't have heat in the room. And when I come into the temple, it doesn't feel that cold for me. We're not below freezing. So comparatively to Maine, it's really not cold. And they say, oh, Dasela, how come you're not cold? I said, well, sometimes I am, but I also remember inside my body, I'm almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit, right? We're 98 degrees. And if it were 98 degrees outside, we'd say, wow, it's a really hot day. But we forget inside we have the heat. So we need to also reconnect with that heat. And in meditation, when your meditation gets to a certain point, that heat comes really blazing through. That's Prajna Paramita in her wrathful form of Vajra Yogini. She's got a lot of fire. She's surrounded by flames. So we need to remember to keep that fire. Yes, Lucy went like this. Yes, the inner fire. And she's got it all around her. So that's the red color. And then the yellow is the earth for the preciousness of the jewels. The jewel of the Dharma teaches us equanimity. Earth carries everything equally. Mother Earth does not reject her children who are murderers, who are robbers, who are liars, who are thieves. Even those people who have those habits, Mother Earth supports evenly. And the Buddhas also do. The Buddhas see their Buddha nature and support evenly and say, yes, even one day they too will awaken. Today they're a bit naughty, but Mother Earth still supports evenly all the creatures, right? So we have to keep that equanimity in our hearts. And then the blue color of water, of course, our bodies constituently are almost all water. And so the water is the Vajra family. The Vajra family sees very clearly with wisdom that everything living does have Buddha nature. Everything has this awakened essence already. All we have to do is bring it out. We are Buddha right from the very start. How could we not be? We're part of a primordially pure universe. There's nothing, purity and impurity are just thoughts that we have created through our own small thinking judgment. But the Buddha said everything that lives has Buddha nature, down to the tiniest deer tick. They're not that popular these days, down to the tiniest mosquito. They've never been popular. Even His Holiness the Dalai Lama has problems with mosquitoes. But even they have a Buddha nature because they have a consciousness. They have sentience. So when we meditate, we want to bring all of these wonderful qualities in. And then the final thing, the white color, is space. Why space? Because all of our life is unfolding in space. We walk into a room and we tend to notice things in the room. I remember Lori saying once to me, "Oh, that's too esoteric." And I said, "No, but if you really think about it, it doesn't have to be esoteric. Everything is happening in space. Our whole planet is whirling through space." Lately, the young nuns and I have been going to the top of the roof of the temple using a telescope, looking at the planets and watching the moon rise and looking at the moon. And then you feel everything's moving in space. These days, we don't feel very spacious. COVID has forced us in tight. There's been a lot of fear. There's been a lot of contraction, which is the earth element coming in on itself, and the water feeling heavy, and maybe the fire dimming a little bit. So in our meditation, we want to open up into space, because Manjushri, who's the bodhisattva of wisdom, who's holding the flaming sword in his right hand, he's showing us the sword conquers everything, because nothing can conquer space. And space and Tara have a very deep connection, because the wind element moves clearly and easily unobstructed through space. The wind moves and nothing can destroy the wisdom. Nothing can harm it. Nothing can take it away. Just like space cannot be harmed. Atom bombs can go off in space. Space is not harmed. Airplanes fly through space. Space is not harmed. Huge flocks of birds do their poo-poo through the space. Space is not harmed. Human beings say many negative things through the space. The space is still pure. So in our minds, we need to remember these wonderful, powerful qualities to infuse into our meditation. So with Arya Tara, she's the swift heroine, swift and heroic. She comes as soon as she's asked. So everyone ask right now, "Oh yes, Arya Tara, I'm sorry, I forget to ask you to come, but please right now come and be present in my mind stream." Rinpoche used to tell me about his meditation practice, that he'd invite Arya Tara for tea every day. He'd think of inviting her like having a guest coming over. So he wouldn't be distracted, talking to someone else. He wouldn't be eating anything. He would just be ready to receive Tara, which I think is beautiful. That's always stayed with me in the way Rinpoche has around who else is going to tell you they're inviting Arya Tara over for tea every day. So oops, I hope I didn't.
Gatsel, you muted yourself.
Unskillful means with a sense of humor. Okay, so unmuted now. Now that's Arya Tara telling me, okay, enough talking, let's do our meditation. So just remember, let's be very comfortable, sitting up nice and tall. Really letting your body be held effortlessly supported, so that your meditation, your body's nice and straight, and then your meditation's really coming onto your connection with your breath, because that is where Tara moves, is through the breath. And we're going to do about a 15-minute meditation, because it just takes a little while to settle in. So let's just take a little time to really invite Arya Tara in. You don't have to worry about the timing. I will take care of the timing. So let's imagine our Tara is sitting in front of us, about the level of our eyebrows, the size of our thumb, just a little bit bigger. She doesn't have to be too big. She's sitting on a beautiful throne of a lotus flower. You can make the lotus flower whatever color you'd like. It's spread out gently, made of light, on top of a sun and a moon disk. These are circles kind of lying horizontally. A beautiful glowing sun. That means bodhicitta, our awakened mind, full of universal loving kindness, non-judgment, compassion, equanimity, love for all beings, compassion for all beings without judgment. And connected to the root of the sorrowless bliss, which is the awakened mind. Enlightened from the very start, our true Buddha essence. And then the moon disk, which is representing emptiness, the lack of inherent existence, everything impermanent appearance, changing, but just playing and dancing through the Dharmakaya, the truth body of the Buddha. Light, radiant, and free, mere reflections of the Buddha nature. And sitting on top of that lovely throne, her body is emerald green light, clear like a rainbow light. Her left leg is bent up towards her body, and her right leg is gently extended with her knee relaxed and her foot coming down. And her right foot is supported by a beautiful little lotus as well. She's just suspended there in front of you in space, happy, rejoicing that you're calling upon her. She's gazing and smiling at you lovingly, like a mother and a best friend. Or she might be gazing at you with a little bit of the face of your guru or your essence of your guru, reminding you, yes, here we are. You called and so we've come. Her left hand is at her heart center with 3 fingers extended and her thumb touching her ring finger, making the symbol the mudra of purity and the 3 jewels. It's also holding the stem of an upala flower, a beautiful, precious, rare flower that's blossoming up next to her left ear. Her right hand is extended over her knee, her right knee, and it's open with a palm facing outwards in the gesture, in the mudra of granting blessings. In a gesture that says, you've asked for my help. How can I help you? I am going to help you. That's my sacred vow. Let me know what you need, and I'm going to work for your benefit. Her face is very sweet. She's about 16 years old, full of vibrant energy, full of enthusiasm and love, loving kindness, wanting to help. And she has the power and the energy to help. And she's surrounded by a rainbow bubble. So she doesn't have the flames of Vajrayogini. She has rainbow bubble light. Transparent the way a rainbow is in the sky. Very free and light and dancing. Her posture is called the dancing posture. So just breathing in and breathing out in Aryatara's presence, enjoying her company. We don't have to think anything now, just relaxing, receiving her love and her compassionate care. So just thought we'd invite His Holiness and our brother monks to finish that meditation for us. That's His Holiness chanting the Tara mantra. And His Holiness, of course, also has a special connection, Avalokiteshvara Chenrezig to Tara. Can you hear me okay if I don't wear the earbuds? Is it still clear? It's okay? Okay, good. Because the story of Tara, well, there are a few different stories of Tara, but one is that after Chenrezig Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva or Buddha of compassion, had made his pledge to help liberate all mother beings from samsara, from the realm of suffering, and was working for eons and eons, a long, long time, he got really discouraged one day. And this is when his head split open. And that's why we have the 11-headed Avalokiteshvara. So he could see in every direction and constantly keep working. He grew his 1,000 arms, but he had a tear that came down because he saw he was still having so many beings suffering that he didn't feel capable of doing it on his own. And so when he cried that tear, Tara was born from that tear. That's one story of Tara's creation. The other story that's well known is the Venerable Tara, a female aspect of the Buddha, was originally born as a princess called Yeshe Dawa. Yeshe means wisdom and Dawa means moon. So she was wisdom moon. In a world called manifold lights, she was greatly devoted to the teachings of the Buddha of that period, and that Buddha's name was Drum Sound. and for many hundreds of millions of years, she made offerings to the numberless Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Arhats of the time. Each day she would prepare offerings of precious cloth in each of the 10 directions, and because of the merits of this, she received bodhicitta, the mind of awakening. Some monks of that period told Tara that if she made prayers to receive a male body and to be of benefit to the teachings, her prayers would be successful. However, she replied, "Many work for sentient beings with male bodies, but few with female. Therefore, I shall work for all sentient beings as a female until samsara ends." Remaining in the palace unattached to the sense objects she enjoyed, she practiced meditation and attained the state known as releasing all living beings. Through the power of this, each and every morning, she released hundreds of millions of others from their worldly thoughts, bringing them to the same level of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. And every evening she did the same, releasing hundreds of millions of others from worldly thoughts of samsaric realm, bringing them to the level of bodhicitta, the enlightened mind. Then she changed her name to Tara, the liberator, and consequently, the Buddha drum sound prophesied that she would be known as the goddess Tara until all sentient beings received enlightenment. A great number of Indian pandits and yogis have become enlightened through the practice of this yoga method, and I'm sure many yoginis have as well. Among them are Tilopa, Naropa, Kantapa, Lalavajra, and Dipankara, Lord Atisha. Similarly, in Tibet, countless Tibetan lamas have accomplished all the sutra and tantra realizations by relying on Tara. Among them are Dromtonpa, Lama Tsongkhapa, the Venerable Lama, embodiment of all Buddhas and manifestations of Tara herself in a human body, Losang Yeshe Tenzin Gyatso, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as well as the Venerable and kind Lama Lobsang Tsondu, who understands completely every single teaching of the Buddha and is the second Buddha of wisdom, Manjushri, and innumerable others. Therefore, as long as we continue to observe the law of karma, we need never doubt that Tara will help us also to reach enlightenment. And when I first arrived here at Donju Getseling, Jetsuma Tenzin Pamola said to me, "Oh, how wonderful. You came, we asked Tara and she sent you. We didn't even have to look for anybody." And she said, "Welcome to Donju Getseling. This whole place is devoted to Tara." And my own Sawe Lama, my own root Lama, many of our root Lama, Kenzo Rinpoche Lobsang Seten, he also is completely devoted to Tara. In his new temple at Tashi Lumpo, there's a great, huge statue of Tara in the main prayer hall. I've never seen her like that in any of the other monastic centers or nunneries. She's there and revered the way she should be. So we can feel very blessed and grateful that we have such a strong connection to Arya Tara. Yes, thumbs up. Heidi's giving. Good. So now we're going to do the actual practice. And why are we choosing Tara? Well, Tara also helps to remove obstacles. Obstacles are anything in our life that create problems for us. So obstacles could be impatience. Obstacles could be fear and anxiety. Obstacles could be the beginnings of anger, like frustrations. Obstacles could be doubt. Oh, I'm not good enough. Who am I to think that I could do this? Who am I to think that I could help raise $1 million? Who am I to think that, I'm really going to attain enlightenment? Well, Tara can help you remove that obstacle, saying, well, who is this I who's thinking that? Who is this one that's so full of doubt and pride, thinking, I can't do it. Of course, you're not going to do it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are going to help you. And Tara is going to be the one to remove the obstacles. So she helps us overcome the self-cherishing attitude. The ego can be very big and take up a lot of space and be overconfident and think that they have to be perfectionist. The ego often thinks, I've got to take all the action because I'm going to make things happen. Or it can be very big by draining us, by having a low self-esteem, saying, oh, poor me, I could never get that done. Oh, I'm so impatient. Oh, I'll never make another step on the path. As Jetsuma likes to say, the ego is also very happy to be miserable because you're still feeding it. It's still getting power. So we have to be careful about that. Both sides. And Tara says, don't worry about it, dear. Leave it to me. Give me these obstacles. I'll clear them out of the way. So, and I'm sharing with you Jetsuma's anecdotes. She shared them in teachings. Sometimes she shared them with me in comments that we've had. But she said, before when we're walking around the nunnery, I try to imagine when she came here, it was just open ground. It was just a field. It was an old tea plantation. There was no magnificent temple, no Buddha statues, no tankas, no nuns' quarters, no room that I'm sitting in. But she visioned that the nunnery would be of benefit and that she committed herself to agree to work for the benefit of myself, who's enjoying it now, of all the 100 nuns who are here, enjoying it now, of all beings that come here, enjoying it now, through her vision and belief in Tara to be able to help manifest it. You see, Jetsuma always says, if people say to her, as I did when I first came some years ago and offered her a contact, thank you so much, Jetsuma. She said, looked at me, she said, why are you thinking me? What did I do? Completely serious, completely full of humility, and completely speaking the truth. Because in Buddhism, it's not the I that's doing anything. Yes, there is a relative I here, but it's the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are eons and eons and eons part of an awakened consciousness that we ourselves are unfolding and connecting into. We're tapping into that Tara energy. So when we need things that we believe will be of benefit to others, like manifesting the Tashi Gatsel Buddhist Center, a nice eco-dharma center in Maine that could go on to benefit so many countless beings, thousands, millions. We maybe don't see how that's going to happen, but we don't need to see it. We need to just know, oh, the Dharma has benefited my life so much. I would like the Dharma to continue to remain in this world, the Buddha Dharma, to help others awaken. And however that can happen, Tara, I know you're going to help us. So myself, I think of Tara as like my captain and we're on her team. And I say, go team. So Tara is leading us onward. So in this way, she helps purify us and help us remove anything that keeps us from really actually believing and connecting with our Buddha nature. We have it. All we have to do is let her help us bring it out. So this is the way that she helps purify. She removes these obstacles. And when we do our breath meditation, we're connecting deeply with Tara, right into our mind, right here in our heart center, where our bodhicitta lives. It's a warm feeling, a very glowing, loving feeling. So for the practice now, for the Tara meditation, just enjoy, excuse me, just enjoy. You can sit again comfortably. You can close your eyes for this if it helps you to visualize Tara. But let's begin now by just you settling in, and I'm going to read the beginning of the practice. That's called a glance meditation on the graduated path. And the parts of the practice where we say refuge, you can repeat the refuge. I'll say it slowly so you can repeat it out loud, and the Bodhisattva prayer. But in the meantime, you just enjoy and listen, release any thinking, just connect with Arya Tara. A glance meditation on the graduated path. I take refuge in the Holy Guru, essence of all Buddhas. Original grandeur of all holy teachings and guide of all supreme beings. Prayer for success in Dharma practice. Please, Guru Buddhas, bestow on us the ability to unify our mind with the Dharma and be successful in practicing Dharma in order to achieve the graduated path to enlightenment. May no hindrances occur while achieving this path. Please bless us to realize that we have received a perfect human rebirth, which is highly meaningful, for many reasons difficult to obtain, but perishable, changeable, transient, and fragile, decaying in the shortest moment because of its changeable nature. Thus, our death is definite, but its actual time is most uncertain, and after death, we do not know where we will be reborn. So we are going to practice Tara's Puja in order to avoid being reborn in the lower suffering realms, purifying our negative karma, working to cultivate all positive karma in this life, and clearing out all negative karmas from all previous lives. Please bless us to comprehend how incredibly unendurable is the suffering of lower realms, so that we might take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha with all of our heart and realize the evolution of karma in all of its profundity, all the way up to enlightenment, that we might perform only virtuous actions and abandon all negative creations. By practicing in this way, we will be reborn in the upper realms, but will still have to experience samsaric suffering because of unpurified confusion and karma. Please bless us to realize fully the evolution of samsara that leads from rebirth to death to rebirth, and then to know how important it is to follow day and night the three higher trainings of the path: the higher conduct of morality, the higher concentration of loving kindness, bodhicitta, compassion with wisdom that sees the true nature of reality, the third, the higher wisdom. These are the main methods to release us from samsara. And as each sentient being has been our mother, and as most of them are in extreme suffering, please bless us to bring success to all mother beings by renouncing the perfect happiness of self and practicing the bodhisattva's deeds of the six perfections with the bodhisattva's mind of exchanging self with others on the basis of the equanimity meditation. Thus we release our solitary peace and shall have no sorrow in experiencing the samsaric suffering of all other mother beings, for no matter how long, having trained our mind in the general path. Please bless us to follow the quick Vajrayana teachings by feeling sentient beings suffering very unimaginably unbearable for even the shortest moment as our own, and to achieve the attainment of Shakyamuni Buddha immediately at this very moment by keeping our ordinations and instructions of the Guru with the best and highest care in life for the sole purpose of enlightening all sentient beings. Emaho. Now visualize above the crown of your head a lotus and moon disk made of light. Sitting upon these is the great treasury of compassion herself, Arya Tara, mother of all enlightened beings, who is oneness with your kind root guru. And if you don't feel like you have a root guru, just envision Arya Tara herself, or His Holiness the Dalai Lama. My guru is seated in the full lotus position with a transparent bubble of rainbow-colored light, pink in complexion, and wears saffron robes and a pundit's hat. His right hand is at his heart, or her heart, in the gesture of teaching the Dharma, and holds a vajra in the stem of a white lotus that blooms beside the right ear. The left hand rests on the hip and holds a bell in the stem of another white lotus that blooms besides the left ear. At my guru's heart is Arya Tara in the female aspect, green in color, seated in the dancing posture with a rainbow bubble, her left leg bent up, her right leg outstretched. Her left hand is at her heart, in the mudra symbolizing the triple gem, the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And holding the stem of a blue utpali flower. Her right hand extended over her right knee is in the mudra of granting sublime realizations. She is beautifully adorned with jeweled ornaments and scarves, and at her three places, at her forehead is a white om, at her throat a red ah syllable, and at her heart a blue hum. At her heart is a lotus and moon seat, on which stands a radiant green syllable tam. Rays of green light radiate in all directions and invoke all the enlightened beings of the 10 directions. They come and are all absorbed into Arya Tara and become one. Now make a heartfelt prayer. Please remain above my head until I reach enlightenment. Now we'll say our refuge and bodhicitta prayers. So you can repeat out loud if you'd like. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merit from giving and other perfections, may I become Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merit from giving and other perfections, may I become Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merit from giving and other perfections, may I become Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. And in Tibetan, it sounds like this. Sangye charan soki choknam na changchu bardu dagni kyapsu chi dagi jin soki pe soknam ki jola penchir sangye drupar sho. And now a special generation of bodhicitta. In particular, for the sake of all mother sentient beings. Quickly, quickly, I must somehow obtain the precious state of complete and perfect Buddhahood. Therefore, I shall practice the yoga of Venerable Arya Tara. Now our 4 immeasurable qualities, immeasurable love. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. Immeasurable compassion. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. Immeasurable joy. May all beings be inseparable from bliss without sorrow. And immeasurable equanimity. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from the extremes of attachment and aversion, greed and hatred. Our 7-limb prayer. With my body, speech, and mind, I devoutly prostrate. I offer all offerings, both real and imagined. All sins and offenses collected from beginningless time, I confess. I rejoice in all virtuous actions of holy and ordinary beings. O Gurus and Buddhas, please remain until samsara ends and turn the wheel of the Dharma for sentient beings. I rejoice in all my virtues and all others, and dedicate all my virtues and those of others to the great enlightenment. Okay, now you can just listen to the rest of the practice. I'm going to offer an expanded 7-limb prayer that His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama wrote while he was still a teenager. You visualize prostrating now to Arya Tara, bowing down, and think of His Holiness reciting this. Arya Tara, your liberating body is fully adorned with all the signs of a Buddha. Your melodious speech, complete with all the 60 rhythms, flows without hesitation. Your vast, profound mind, filled with wisdom and compassion, is beyond all conceptions. I prostrate to the wheel of these 3 secret adornments of your body, speech, and mind. Material offerings of my own and others, the actual objects and those that I visualize, body and wealth, and all virtues amassed throughout the 3 times, I offer to you upon visualized oceans of clouds, like Samantabhadra's offerings. My mind being oppressed by the stifling darkness of ignorance, I have done many wrongs against reason and vows, whatever mistakes I have made in the past, with a deep sense of regret. I pledge never to repeat them, and without reservation, I confess everything to you. From the depths of my heart, I rejoice in the enlightening deeds of the sublime masters and in the virtuous actions past, present, and future performed by myself and all others as well, and by ordinary and exalted beings of the 3 sacred traditions. I request you to awaken every living being from the sleep of ordinary and instinctive defilements with the divine music of the Dharma's pure truth, resounding with the melody of profoundness and peace, and in accordance with the dispositions of your various disciples. I entreat you to firmly establish your feet upon the indestructible Vajra throne in the indissoluble state of Evam, until every sentient being gains the calm breath of joy in the state of final realization. Freed by from the extremes of worldliness and solitary peace. I totally dedicate my virtuous actions of all 3 times so that I may receive continuous care from a master and attain full enlightenment for the benefit of all, through accomplishing my prayers, the supreme deed of Samantabhadra. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. Sashi Poki Jugshin Meto Tramri Rapo
Gen Padi Sangye Jindu Mikte Uwa Yidro Kunamda Jingla Choparsho. The objects of my attachment, aversion and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments, without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept it with pleasure and bless me with freedom from the three poisons. Dagi chagdang mong sum kewe yudra nyen bar sum ludang long chu che pang pa me par bulgi lekshe Neduk sumrang sar drowar jin yilo Om Yiram Guru Ratnamandalam Kanniryatayami. So now for the purification. Think like this in your heart. Please bless me to purify all obscurations, non-virtues of my body, so that it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra body. White light emanates from the Om at Arya Tara's brow at her forehead and curves down in an arc to enter my brow. My body is purified completely of all obscurations and becomes one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra body. As the white light fills my body, all negativities are released in the form of black liquids and smoke, scorpions, insects, through the bottoms of my feet, down into the mouth of the bull that Arya Tara is accompanied by. Her totem animal is the bull, and the bull is happy to eat these negativities. It does not harm the bull. Everything releasing through the bottom of the feet as the white liquid fills the entire body, every cell, every pore, pure white light shining, and all negative imprints through the body released through the feet. Now we purify our speech. We request Arya Tara, please bless me to purify all obstructions of my speech so that it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra speech. Now red light emanates from the Ah at Arya Tara's throat and curves into an arc to enter the bottom of our feet, filling our entire body up through the bottom of our feet slowly as it goes, red light moving from the bottom of our feet up through our lower legs to our knees, up through our thighs, moving up through our genitals and our rear end up to our waist, through our belly to our diaphragm, up to our heart and our throat, up to our shoulders and running, spilling down through our arms, into our wrists and our elbows and our fingertips and the hands. Red light completely purifying and opening up, purifying our speech from our throat now up to our mouth and our tongue. Filling the front and back of our head, our mouth, our nose, eyes, and ears. Purifying speech up to our forehead, all the way up over the top of our head and through our back to the very crown of our head, where the red light releases and all the excess red light stays on the crown of the head in the form of a little Ushnishna crowning top knot, the way the Buddha has his special little Ushnishna crowning top knot. We leave the excess red light there. And we rejoice and think, my speech is purified completely of all obscurations and becomes one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra speech. And now we're going to purify the mind. Please bless me to purify all obscurations of my mind, so that it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra mind. Anything that obscures our wisdom of our Buddha nature, anything obscure means get in the way of, prevents us from seeing and connecting with our Buddha nature in our mind. We pray to Aryatara to release. Now blue light shines forth from the hum at Aryatara's heart center, enters through the crown of our head, comes straight down to touch our heart center with this beautiful blue light, and it absorbs like a dry sponge this beautiful blue light. And our heart center starts to open like the sky, wide and vast, limitless, pure, like a gorgeous blue afternoon sky, beginningless and endless. This blue light touches our heart center and opens up our wisdom mind. And as it does so, it streams throughout the rest of our body, shining out every cell, every pore, completely filling our entire essence of being beyond the physical being with radiant blue light of Vajra bliss. Now we request Aryatara, please bless me to purify all delusions and subtle obscurations, subtle obstacles to omniscience, so that my body, speech, and mind will become one with Guru Tara's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. Now, all together, the three colored beams emanate simultaneously from the Om Ah Hum, from the forehead, the throat, and the heart center, curving in an arc and entering my three places, the forehead, throat, and heart, completely purifying all my delusions and subtle obscurations to omniscience, to the capacity to recognize my own true Buddha nature enlightened from the very start. My body, speech, and mind become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. My root guru dissolves into Arya Tara at his heart center, who melts into green light, and this green light flows into me. Instantly, my wrong conception that I and all other phenomena are self-existent, permanent, independent, together with my dualistic mind that sees myself and other as separate, and its views disappears and becomes completely empty. Not even a trace of them remains. I concentrate one-pointedly, single-pointedly in this empty state with the wisdom inseparably one with Guru Tara's blissful, omniscient mind. Then out of that emptiness, my wisdom manifests instantly as Arya Tara's holy body, seated upon a lotus and moon cushion. Now I have become Arya Tara, and at my heart is another lotus and moon, upon which in the middle stands the syllable Tam. Just a bright green light, if you don't know what that syllable is. Just in the middle of the heart, lotus and moon is the green light. And it's surrounded by this mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. The green light and mantra are manifestations of Guru Tara's holy mind, which with my mind is totally now one and united. The green light spreads from all the letters, radiating out in every direction, purifying the negative karmas, gross delusions, and subtle obscurations to omniscience of all sentient beings who become Tara. Not only are my own three poisons of ignorance, desire, and hatred removed, but all those poisons are removed so that all beings can be seen in their true nature, the same as mine, as Arya Tara. From this unity, again, light radiates, bearing manifold offerings to the six transcendental senses of all the Buddhas and sentient beings who have become Tara, blessing their sight, the sound, the scent, the taste, the touch, and the mind itself. The enlightened beings are extremely pleased and shower down the superlative qualities of Buddha Tara's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. My own essence becomes full of Buddha Tara's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind, omniscient wisdom, supreme power, and infinite compassion in the form of a great shower of light rays. We'll recite Arya Tara's mantra as we absorb and am blessed by this rain. Her mantra is Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. 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 Om Tare Tutare. So with mantra recitation, it's good. We say it's good to say it out loud into the collar of your shirt. That's saying if we're sitting like all the monks or nuns in the temple, we don't have to say it with our regular speaking voice, but we should say it loud enough so we can at least hear it ourselves. Tare tutare ture swaha. So I'm going to recite her prayer, the praises to the 21 Taras. Also nice to do daily. If you need a copy of it, let me know and I can send it to you. Om, homage to the Venerable Arya Tara, homage to you, Tara, the swift heroine, whose eyes are like an instant flash of lightning, whose water-born face arises from the blooming lotus of Avalokiteshvara, protector of the three worlds. Homage to you, Tara, whose face is like 100 full autumn moons gathered together, blazing with the expanding light of 1,000 stars assembled. Homage to you, Tara, born from a gold and blue lotus, whose hands are beautifully adorned with lotus flowers, you who are the embodiment of giving, joyous effort, asceticism, pacification, patience, concentration, and all objects of practice. Homage to you, Tara, the crown pinnacle of those thus gone, whose deeds overcome infinite evils, who have attained transcendent perfections without exception, and upon whom the children of the victorious ones rely. Homage to you, Tara, who with the letters Tutara and Hum fill the realms of desire, direction, and space, and whose feet trample on the seven worlds, able to draw forth all beings to you. Homage to you, Tara, venerated by Indra, Agni, Brahma, Vayu, and Ishvara, and praised by the assembly of spirits, raised corpses, Gandhavaras, and all yakshas. Homage to you, Tara, whose tray and pay totally entirely destroy the magical wheels of others, with your right leg bent and left outstretched, and pressing you burn intensely within a whirl of fire. Homage to you, Tara, the great fearful one, whose letter Ture destroys the mighty demons completely, who, with a wrathful expression on your waterborne face, slay all enemies without exception. Homage to you, Tara, whose finger adorn your heart with a gesture of the sublime precious three, adorned with a wheel striking all directions without exception, with the totality of your own rays of light. Homage to you, Tara, whose radiant crown ornament, joyful and magnificent, extends a garland of light, and who by your laughter of Tutara conquered the demons and all of the worlds. Homage to you, Tara, who are able to invoke the entire assembly of local protectors, whose wrathful expression fiercely shakes, rescuing the impoverished through the letter Hum. Homage to you, Tara, whose crown is adorned with a crescent moon, wearing ornaments exceedingly bright. From your hair knot, the Buddha Amitabha radiates eternally with great beams of light. Homage to you, Tara, who dwell within a blazing garland that resembles the fire at the end of this world age. Surrounded by joy, you sit with your right leg extended and left withdrawn, completely destroying all the masses of enemies. Homage to you, Tara, with hand on the ground by your side, pressing your heel and stamping your foot on the earth. With a wrathful glance from your eyes, you subdue all 7 levels through the syllable hum. Homage to you, Tara, O happy, virtuous, and peaceful one, the very object of practice passed beyond sorrow. You are perfectly endowed with Swaha and Om, overcoming completely all the great evils. Homage to you, Tara, surrounded by the joyous ones. You completely subdue the bodies of all enemies. Your speech is adorned with the 10 syllables, and you rescue all through the knowledge letter hum. Homage to you, Tara, stamping your feet and proclaiming Ture, your seed syllable itself in the aspect of hum, causes Meru, Mandara, and the Vindhya mountains and all the 3 worlds to tremble and shake. Homage to you, Tara, who hold in your hand the Hari-marked moon like the celestial ocean. By uttering Tara twice and the letter Pe, you dispel all poisons without an exception. Tara Tara Pe. Homage to you, Tara, upon whom the kings of all the assembled gods and the gods themselves and all Kinnaras rely, whose magnificent armor gives joy to all, you who dispel all disputes and bad dreams. Homage to you, Tara, whose 2 eyes, the sun and the moon, radiate an excellent illuminating light. By uttering Hara twice and Tutara, you dispel all violent epidemic diseases. Hara Hara Tutara. Homage to you, Tara, adorned by the 3 suchnesses, perfectly endowed with the power of serenity. You who destroy the host of evil spirits, raised corpses and yakshas, O Ture, most excellent and sublime. Thus concludes this praise of the root mantra and the offering of the 21 homages. Oh, I prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tara, savior's heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound Swaha I bow. Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha.
I'm sure Dasala is trying to connect with us swiftly. Would you want to join, unmute yourselves and say the Tara mantra? Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha.
Om Tare Tutare Om Tare Tute Swaha. 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 Om Tare Te Swaha. Om
Okay,
Tare
very good. Very good. Thank you. You brought me back. Sorry. I guess my computer, I have an old laptop and I guess it's draining maybe the power. I have to keep it plugged in. Sorry, it was fully, I'd never lost it within an hour fully charged, but I'm glad that we're back. And yes, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. So let's dedicate together. And then we'll have just a minute or two of rejoicing with our Losar. Anyway, I have Kapsi I'm going to offer to all of you. You'll have to taste it remotely. So we're going to dedicate now. I'll say it slowly so you can repeat it out loud. May I quickly become
May I quickly become
Guru Arya Tara
Guru
Arya Tara
and lead each and every
and lead
And
each and
lead-
every
sentient being
and lead sentient being
into her enlightened state
into her enlightened state
because of these merits.
because of these merits.
May the supreme jewel,
May the supreme jewel,
bodhicitta,
bodhicitta,
that has not arisen,
that has not arisen,
arise and grow,
rise and grow.
and may that which has arisen
May that which has arisen
not diminish,
not diminish,
but increase more and more.
but increase more and more.
Good. So now I'll just say the final closing. Through the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Arya Tara and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. And may this supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow and increase forevermore. Jangchub Samcho Rinpoche, Make Panam Ke Gyorchi, Kewa Nempar Me Pariang Gone Gondu Pawa Sho. From Shanti Deva's Bodhisattva Bodhicharya Avatara, may all beings everywhere plagued by sufferings of body and mind obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature ever suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing and the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Gangriwa we korwe shinkam dear pendang dewa malu changwene chenrezi wan tenzin gatsoi shapezi te bardu ten gyurchi. And we're going to read the long life prayer for our precious Kenzo Rinpoche, Lobsang Setin. I offer prostrations and prayers with single-minded faith to the gurus whose kindness is unequal and who, with skillful means and without an instant's rest, reveal to living beings so illusory the path of benefit and happiness without moving from the sphere of dependent arising and the elimination of elaborations. Having gone to bliss by the path of valid cognition and incontrovertible dependent arising, to the Buddhas, deities, and personal deities, Vajradhara and the rest, to the lords of the three lineages, protectors, and to the assembly of great heroes and dakinis, O compassionate supreme beings, please bestow on me good fortune. May you be victorious, O supreme noble being, Avalokiteshvara, deeply kind master, destined to be the deity of the land of snow's beings, just as prophesied by Amitabha, the teacher Buddha, epitome of the four bodies, and so on, who, having upheld and tamed Tibet, expanded the power and influence of the Tibetan teachings and government with the activities of a Dharma king, an ancestral king, and the like, and increased the human population, bringing them together with material goods and teachings. Furthermore, during the perilous, though after long Dharma decline, obstacles and hindrances arose, you again performed unsurpassable kindnesses in Tibet, increased the opportunities for happiness in the Tibetan teachings and governance through emanations of the greatly compassionate one and the like. Furthermore, during the perilous time when Tibet became like a hell on earth due to the occupation of the Chinese, because of the kindness of powerful Avalokiteshvara, the supreme 14th protector, religion and government could breathe a sigh of relief. In your wisdom, you search for the middle way, resolution to bring happiness to all Chinese and Tibetans through the knowledge and skill of undying and unrelenting compassion. When one searches for the object imputed, there is no essence, just as it is with the plantain tree. Due to the dependent arising of causes and conditions, there is the tragedy of this great threat to the sage's teaching, root of happiness for the land of snow and all beings are mothers. I pray for the long life of the king of the victorious ones, the supreme protector who brings well-being to all living beings and to the teaching, and especially to Tibet, through his unequaled courage and altruistic spirit of enlightenment, which are equal in measure to all the troubles. I pray for the long life of all those who uphold the teaching, who do so without bias, and who take responsibility for its increase and preservation by first understanding the victorious one's teachings in general, and in particular the Tibetan teachings of the Yellow Hats, to be the root of all beings' happiness, and then by practicing and explaining them. And that the teachings in the Tibetan tradition of the Red Hats and the Nyingmas and all of the four main lineages are beneficial for all practitioners who follow them in the Rimé tradition. In particular, I pray for the one who knows all the scriptures with the power of his intelligence to have a long life through the solid strength of his mind and his mastery of life in order to benefit the teachings and all beings with his good wholehearted resolve. In general, the disappearance of the supreme protector of all beings and the teaching draws near. In particular, the land of snow's teachings and government are in crisis. In particular, also now at this time, the world is in crisis due to the COVID epidemic. It is a bodhisattva deed to uphold the teaching and work for the benefit of all beings by wholeheartedly assuming the responsibility of the thought to help them. Therefore, in this time of great peril, in the degenerate age, I pray for you to have a long life wherein you have considered the general and the particular with a special altruistic spirit, perseverance, patience, and discernment, and in accord with the magnificent thought of the snowy region's protector. We also pray for all other glorious lineage lamas who are upholding the teaching. Glorious, foremost, and holy one, Jetsuma Tenzin Palmola, who through the blessings of the three jewels and three roots spreads the amazing teachings of the meaning lineage far and wide across the world. May you live long and may your enlightened activities flourish and increase. Karmapa, the embodiment of compassion of the victorious ones of the Karma Kagyu. Karmapa, the condensed enlightened activity of all the victorious ones. Karmapa, initiated in the land, in the lineage of all the victorious ones. Orgen Dondu Chinle, may your lotus feet remain in this world. To all the Nyingma masters upholding the Nyingma tradition of the old ones, may all your holy aspirations swiftly manifest for the benefit of all beings. The Sakyas, Lord of the ocean of doctrines, the glorious Sakyas, crown jewel of 1,000,000 Vajra holders of the land of snow, refuge Lord, supreme throne holder, Sampel Wangi Gyalpo, Sakyatrism, may your life be long and all your activities expand far and wide. Now the closing in Tibetan. Jangchup Samchok Rinpoche, Ma Ke Panam Ke Gyorchi, Ke Par Nyam Par Me Par Yang, Gone Gondu Pelwar Sho. Jampel Pawo Jitar Kem Padang, Kuntu Zampo De Yang De Shinte, De Dag Kunji Jesu Dag Lochir, Gewa De Dag Tamche Rab Tungo. Dusum Shepe Gawa Tamcheki, No Wagana Choktu Napade, Dagi Gewe Sewa Di Kungyang. Sampo Chochir Rabtu no Warji, Pama Samchen Tamche De Dang Den Yorchi, Nadro Tamche Taktu Dong Wadong, Jangchup Sampagana Sushokpa, De Da Kunji Molnam Drup Yorchi. And we especially dedicate our puja today for all of those who have recently passed away due to whatever causes and conditions, not only in COVID, but anyone who has recently passed away. We offer our prayers for their highest rebirth and enlightenment. And anyone who is currently sick to any conditions, especially COVID, but other conditions, cancers, alcoholism, anxieties, mental sickness, we pray for all to quickly gain full health. And we pray for those who are facing any kind of health obstacles. In particular, we pray for a successful surgery today of Kenzo Rinpoche Lobsang Seten, who's going back into the hospital for surgery on the gallbladder and his other knee replacement. So please say prayers, say Tara mantras throughout the evening tonight. And I will be saying prayers throughout the day today, and I will let you know how Rinpoche comes through the surgery. He sends his love and blessings to everyone. And may we all attain Buddhahood for the benefit of every sentient being. That's my favorite.
Let's do
my
it.
favorite cleansing.
Hmm.
So thank you, sisters. Very nice. I have one little Losar gift for you, although you cannot taste it. But anyway, I'm going to share it with you. So we can rejoice.
Oh.
I'm sharing this beautiful Losar basket that's full of goodies.
Oh.
Wonderful.
And in particular, I think maybe some of you remember a few years ago when we did Losar at Tashi Gatsel, we had our nice sister from Nepal who made kapse, which is this kind of beautiful fried kind of treat that they only make at high holidays. And the nuns kindly gifted me some of theirs to share with you. So I'm going to share that with you. Now the nuns here have taken it to a whole new art form. As you can see, they've made these all by hand out of dough.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You can
That's
see that they're
amazing.
very talented, my dear sisters here.
Wow.
This
wow.
one, it's like a new art form, you know, much better than Oreo cookies.
Right.
Okay, this was in the email. There was a photograph of them in the email.
Yes, that's what that special email was. It's a close-up of this kapse.
Mm.
I'm kind of, these days I'm into like doing photos of like of very close visuals and then wanting people to kind of see them afterwards and kind of, that's emptiness, right? We see one thing and then we see something else. That's tompani. So I hope you can enjoy. I'm going to have some with a cup of coffee after this. I also wanted to let you know that the nuns were doing the Tara Puja just now in the temple as we were doing ours. So isn't that wonderful? We were rejoicing all together, but you didn't know that. And then the other thing we do, this is their precious sampa. So this is ground barley flour. They love this. They put it in their tea. They mix it up as dough. They live on this. Yes. So Kiki so. Kiki so. Blessings. That's what we do. We do. I'll do to my Buddhas here. Offer the sampa. Offer Losar. We say Losar Tashi Dele. So that's how we rejoice. We spent the day yesterday in the morning from 6 until about 7:30 in the temple doing praises to, this is another one, good one you could do tonight if you have a copy, praises to the 17 arhats. It's giving thanks. In our lineage, it's 17. His Holiness wrote it, you can Google it, to all of the lineage masters from the Nalanda tradition, which the yellow hats, the Geluks, we really follow the teachings through this very studious way. Other lineages do a lot more meditation. They study, but they're focused more on like practice in that way. We come into the Dharma through the Geluk tradition by studying and reasoning and debating. And so the 17 arahats were these 17 great masters from the Nalanda University here in India, as it had existed back in the, the before, as Jetsam would say, long time ago, the beginning of the 1st century through like the 8th century, I think it was, until the the Islamic invaders came the Mughal invaders, and they burnt it down. The library was so big at Nalanda that it's reported to have burnt for 3 months after the invaders set fire to it. That's how many texts were in. And that's where the tradition came from here in India up to Tibet. So the teachings had been preserved after the Buddha's passing by his disciples, and then they formed the Nalanda University, which for a long time was the largest university in the world. And their library grew so much that it took 3 months for it to finish burning. I mean, that's, we all love books, so it's heartbreaking to even think of a library burning, but for some reason, the ignorance in this world system does that, right? There was supposed to be a great library in Alexandria as well, in Egypt, that was full of the world wisdom traditions, that was also burnt down. So you see, samsara is always going to be around, my dears. You know, we just don't join with it. We don't have to try to change any of it. The politics is always going to be, as His Holiness calls, dirty politics. Ignorance is going to be there. It is the nature of karma until beings purify, until they come out of their ignorance, their selfish desires, their hatreds. This is what creates the samsara. It's the worldly system concerns. We're rising above it now. We're moving towards the nirvana, towards the enlightenment, towards the non-abiding nirvana that works for the happiness of others, but we don't have to try to change anyone. Not our partner, not our children, not our Dharma sisters, not our lay people, no one. We just do it ourselves, and that's enough. Isn't that wonderful? How wonderful it is. How wonderful it is. How wonderful it is. I mean, look, if I can make so many good changes, I mean, I have to work really hard. Like the story of Milarepa in Jetsuma's tradition, he was a black magician when he was young. He was trained in the dark arts, and his family was very mean to him and his mother. His father had died when he was young. And when he learned these dark arts, he actually created catastrophes that killed 35 members of his family. He really used them negatively. And then at some point he had an epiphany, like, yeah, that wasn't a good thing to do. That was really wrong. And so he went searching for his teacher, and he found his teacher, a Tibetan Lama master who was a layman. No one really even knew that Marpa was so realized, because he was married, he had his little farm, but he was a really realized yogi. And Marpa became Milarepa's teacher. And that's the story of Milarepa having, Marpa would make him pile up stones and build these huge stone edifices, take them down and move the stones and rebuild them. Milarepa had to do that back and forth, all this very hard physical work to purify. And then eventually Marpa told Milarepa, go now up into the mountains and meditate. And often if you see paintings of Milarepa, he's a little bit green tinged because he only ate the nettle plants up in the mountains. He meditated in a cave. These two are like the lineage beginnings for Jetsuma's lineage, for the Drukpa Kagyu, or for Kagyu in general. Yeah, Milarepa.
I'm reading it right now.
It's great. Mi means people, and La means like a prophet. And Ripa, he's like the voice of and Pa means the father. He's the voice, the prophet of the people, the crazy yogi.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, we have a beautiful fresco in the temple here to Milarepa, and he's surrounded by all the dakinis, and he's always listening because he gained the capacity to be able to hear the dakinis directly, to communicate. So, we have these wonderful stories of effort. Tara made a lot of effort, a lot of offerings. Milarepa did a lot of practice. So every day that we can practice, anytime we can practice, make effort, we get 1 or 2 steps closer on the path to our goal, to our non-abiding enlightenment. Rinpoche used to say, if you want to think about your own progress, like, so New Year's is a good time. In the West, we set resolutions, but Tibetans don't do that at all. Tibetans don't even understand that. What they do is they look back at the last year and they think about their practice, and they think, last year in 2020 at this time, Where was my mind? What was going on in my life? What was challenging for me? How did I face things? Then they look over the course of the year and they think about what they did in their Dharma practice. Did I do some retreat? Did I do some practice? How did my practice support me? Where did I fall short? Where did I miss the mark a little bit? What can I bring into the path more clearly? And then they're just happy. They're like, yeah, great. I'm still alive. I'm going to still practice. And then they let it go. They don't ruminate over mistakes of the past. They don't bash themselves over the head about not being good enough. They don't fear death because they think, hey, look, I got a human rebirth. You know, it's like the cosmic jackpot. I must have done good things in the last life because here I am in this life still connected with Dharma. So the next life, my practice I'm doing right now, it's for my next life. It's only going to get better in the sense of coming closer to nirvana. Better meaning not externally the world's going to get better. It's not going to get better. The Buddha told us we're in degenerate times, and we see the external world is only reminding us, hey, be glad you got the Dharma, right? Right. So when we do a review like that, which we should from time to time, we can even do it like a week ago or a month ago, but it's good at a time like Losar to think back during this last year and then really think about, okay, yep, the Dharma really came through for me. There were not that it's ever perfect or easy, but the way we meet the challenges has gotten easier. The way we've addressed and faced our difficulties has become more skillful. That's how we know the Dharma is working. So it's not that the world is going to all of a sudden become nirvana and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are going to show up and say, oh, well done. Yes, you're enlightened. You got it. It's not like that. It's inside that, you know, oh yeah, I'm still going. I'm still walking the path. Good for me. Maybe no one else will give you the pat on the back. You're allowed to do it in the sense of your Dharma practice. If I were there, I'd give you each good slaps. Jetsima gives them to me all the time on the back. I would give you those. Keep going, keep going. I want you, my companions on the path, still there. We're moving together. We're all practicing for the benefit of everybody's joy, everybody's happiness. So we need to just keep encouraging, going. It doesn't matter how many are in the room with us. Our real practice is in our heart mind. It's not out there. It's not how many people come to our Zoom meeting or how many people. Now people can't even come to the nunnery really. You know, last year at Losar, we had a huge celebration. We had visitors from around the world staying here, from England, Australia, America, India, visitors coming. And this year, you know, the nunnery is closed. So it doesn't matter on the external. It's the nuns we're still joyful. We're still practicing. We're still knowing that we're going to attain for the benefit of all mother beings. And we're going to keep working until everybody who's got the karma to be able to come into the connection with Dharma continues. We're supporting. And eventually that will spread and others who never heard of the Dharma might gain some interest. We're not trying to convert anyone. We're not trying to convince anyone. We're just happy we have the practice. That's great. Again, yeah, good for us. You know, and we we give away all the merits for the blessing of all beings. May all beings have loving kindness, unending joy, infinite compassion with equanimity. We just give that to everybody. That's how we give away the merits. Through our own attitude, through our own behavior of our body, our speech, and our mind. So how wonderful it is. It's quite simple, actually. You know, sometimes we may be like behind me with too much going on, but we work with all this in a way that's working in our own mind to develop and purify and create these qualities. But it could be just like Lucy held up the book of Milarepa, feeling really inspired by Milarepa. You know, you don't have to worry, like as you come into it, you understand the different aspects of the enlightened mind take different appearances. So Tara is this quick, swift heroine of compassion. Over in this Tanka is Vajrasattva, very purification energies, clearing out, you know, so whatever's working the best for you, that's the practice. But Tara is working for everyone. And in particular, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said during this time, especially during the COVID, that saying the Arya Tara mantra, at least 1 mala a day, is very, very beneficial. You can do it on your walks in nature. You can do it driving your car. You can do it even sitting with your children while they're doing their homeschooling work. You can just say your Tara mantras and they don't have to know what you're doing, but it works. You can do it while you're engaging in your housework, whatever, that you can keep that connection with Tara, because that enlightened activity of the awakened mind is then able to merge with we're using our conscious mind to say, yes, I want to invite that. It's no different from you saying, oh, I feel like having a cup of tea now. That's your conscious mind telling you, I'm making a choice to have tea. We wouldn't think that's unusual or odd. And it's not unusual or odd to call upon this awakened consciousness to help transform our lives into more beneficial experience for self and others. Does it make sense? Are you with me? Are we communicating, as Rabina would say? Are we communicating, people?
Yes.
Good. So someone else share. How are you? How are things wherever you are? If you feel like sharing, I'm going to mute myself and then I'll listen.
Well, I just, to be more eloquent, hopefully, I've been dealing with smoking from my neighbor next door, and one of my, I don't know if you know Jen Hilton at all, but she was suggesting in one of my treatments, cranial sacral type things, that it's like that like this us versus them isn't so good. So when I was thinking about that, I was like thinking about this type of us versus them type of thing. And it's funny because Angus King did that on 60 Minutes a couple of weeks ago. And I was thinking to myself, when she was doing this treatment and suggesting this us versus them paradigm isn't so good, that it's important to come from the heart and really listen to people and be able to internalize and feel for them. Sort of, I tried to explain what Tonglen was for her, but the thing that I really started seeing was this image. I'm going to see so that I can do this right, is instead of doing this, that if you can think of your hands becoming together this way, you can't then fight against each other. The hands are unified and they're all together. And then I'm thinking about this whole concept of the heart. Like when I meditate, I think about all the energies from the Taras coming in through, or whatever spiritual energies are, the force or whatever, to come through this heart that I have, and then it gets centered into my own body heart through my thumbs. And then I think about being able to share that joy with the rest of the world that way, that it all gets released out into the universe. So
Really beautiful, Heidi. A really good work. That's exactly right. The unity is the one message now. Every leader's calling for, and wonderful you're picking up on that. His Holiness the Dalai Lama keeps focusing on the oneness of humanity and the unity. And I've heard that a lot coming out of the US. And that's wonderful that meditation has come to you, because it is true. This is why in the prayer to Tara, it says, bless us to get out of duality, because they're in the way we see the world is not the way it is. It really is in unity. There's no separation. The quantum physicists can explain it through science that way. We are one being. It's difficult to see it that way, but we can also know it deeply from many different approaches, through the sacred, the mystical, the scientific, that even just through the rational, all beings want happiness and do not want suffering. We can say it
And-
emotionally that way. So really nice, beautiful.
And when I meditated tonight, the all of that, we've been I don't know if you're aware, but we've been having these impeachment hearings here.
I'm aware.
And you know, all of those people scrambling to get in, I got this image of like this wrathful deity with the fire coming out of its tongue. And I kind of am sort of seeing that whole situation because of that image that came to me. And maybe this is more of a cleansing, you know.
Sure.
With all of these people, it's hard to think of it that way. But
No,
if
it's
I
a good, really, Heidi, that's a good way to think of it, because Heidi brings up a good point of wrathful compassion, that in the Dharma, we have wrathful expressions of protectors. They're called protectors because we need protection of these poisons. Clearly, those people got led through the ignorance, through bad speech, through bad motivation. They got led into, and through their own minds being very disturbed and open for that kind of negative karma, they came together and did actions that were not beneficial to self and not beneficial to others. Wrathful deities show up, like Mahakala, the wrathful deity of compassion, who's the other side of Chenrezi, shows up to show, look, this is danger. Nothing good is going to come out of this. Mahakala doesn't ever, the wrathful ones never want to harm anyone. They want those that are suffering the most, that do the most harm to self and others, to kind of get it. And yeah, sometimes things have to really degenerate for others to go, yeah, why am I the one now sitting here in jail while Trump is going to not be even impeached? You know, like something's going to come to them because the wrathful force of their activities. But this is why karma is so important. Karma just means action. And we only create karma through the three things we cleanse, through our body, through our speech, and through our mind. That's how we create karma. We follow the body, speech, and mind. And when we purify, we do that because our mind, which is the speech and the body follow the mind. The mind is what creates all the causes and conditions from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. The mind is what we carry, is our consciousness, our propensities to do good, to be ignorant, or to make unskillful choices. We've all done all three. I'll speak for myself clearly. In this even one lifetime, I don't need the past lives. In this one lifetime, I've done it all. 10 non-virtuous actions completely, but they're not permanent. They weren't created. I wasn't created by a God with original sin. I don't believe that, and I never did. I know I'm human and that I do fall short and miss the mark, but I know I can change something. And that's why Buddhism for me was very compelling, because it says, yes, we have difficulties. We have these poisons that need to be purified, but good news that they're impermanent. We can cleanse them. Our true nature is Buddha nature. How do we cleanse them? Well, then the third noble truth is, once you cleanse them, you get to nirvana. You get to a state where there are no more impurities, because they're only mistakes. They're only created out of ignorance. You can cleanse them and become completely wise, so you never again commit any negative actions with your body, speech, or mind. And how do you do that? The fourth noble truth: follow the eightfold path. This is the very beginning, the eightfold path that tells us how to only do virtuous activities with our body, with our speech, and with our mind. And the Buddha laid them out all very nicely, all very clearly. Right view, right action, right livelihood, right speech, right mindfulness, right concentration, and two more, but you look them up if you don't remember them. After that, then we go into Sutrayana, we go into philosophy, we read the life stories like Lucy's mentioning, we practice meditation, we read the sutras, the Heart Sutra, we learn mantra, Om Gate Gate Pada Gate Pada Samgate Bodhi Swaha, Oh, very nice. It sounds good. But what does it mean? Where am I going? Go beyond, go entirely beyond, fully awakened. That's where we're going. It's like a roadmap. Okay. So our Dharma practice is so wonderful because the Buddha's laid it out for us. He's our guide. He knows exactly where he's taking us. And he doesn't say, oh, just follow me. Maybe we'll get there. He says, no, check around on the journey to make sure I'm really taking you in the right direction. Do you like where we're going? Then keep going. That's gate, keep going. Now you say, oh, Buddha, I've been going for so long. Where are we going to end up to again? I forget what our destination is. Feels like I've been on this path quite a long time. Doreen. Sorry, I'm saying Doreen because she's my good sister who's been on this path a long time. But the Buddha says, yes, but remember, we're going all the way up to enlightenment. Remember, I brought you also even to Bodh Gaya, to the Mahabodhi statue, to my main seat of awakening. Remember when you started, you didn't know that I could even bring you there. I brought you to the Himalayas. Carla, I brought you to Tashi Lumpo. Meg, I brought you into this community you didn't even know was existing right down the road. Janet, I brought you a smiling little happy man from India in red robes driving your car, giggling away. You didn't know. Andrea, I brought you from Romania to the US so somehow you could meet this crazy American lady teaching some mindfulness you didn't even know. Heidi, I brought you, you're 18, all the way up to Ladakh with this little smiling monk. You didn't know the language, but you wanted to go. You went. Lucy, like this. That's karma. You see, and now in Prenika, Sheila, oh, I came to this funny talk with this lady, bald-headed, because my good friend Andrea said, maybe you'll enjoy. Prenika, oh, I showed up at a nunnery in India and met this funny American nun who told me it's okay that my hands know what they're doing, even if my head and heart doesn't. So we are making these connections and it's weaving. And that after sutra, Tantra means weave. Weave means how do we put it all together? How do we really become Tara? What do you think? How do we really become Tara? We have to believe we already are her. Who else is Tara going to be if it's not us? You think Tara is just going to be His Holiness, just going to be Ken Rinpoche, just going to be Jetsu Mala? They were all just like us at some point on the path. And then their practice took them next level, all the way up to their non-abiding nirvana. They are already there. They're Buddha now. They've reached it. And they're here only helping as bodhisattva to help others who, like they were at one time, started off wanting to attain freedom from suffering. And that's their only life purpose. That's their only life mission. I know because we all know His Holiness the Dalai Lama's life story. I know Ken Rinpoche's life story from his mouth, that his mother knew she was having a special precious birth. And I know Jetsuma's story from her youth. I mean, I asked Jetsuma, how could you be born in London in 1943 in the middle of World War II? Like, you shouldn't be positive. You shouldn't be thinking everyone's Buddha and everything's perfect. You had rubble all around you. Like, how come your mind didn't not go to those dark places? She's like, oh no, I just thought, Dasela, that life was perfect, but people just forgot, that our nature was not, life was perfect, but our nature was perfect already, and people just forgot. And so we have to remember. And then she eventually, by the time she was 18, found Buddhism and recognized, oh yes, this is exactly right. This is it. So, the external, it's never going to get like heaven on earth. That's the heaven on earth is inside of us already. Even Buddha and Jesus agreed with that one. Jesus said, as I am the light and the way, so are you. Unfortunately, the editors whittled it way down in Christianity to just say, I am the light and the way. Those were not the original words. If you read the original Gospels, the hidden Gospels of Thomas, Jesus was a wonderful bodhisattva. As I am the light and the way, so are you. That's the good news. That is the truth. And once each of us really starts to believe in this and own this, yes, the politics will be crazy. I have friends in Myanmar. What's happening there is horrible. My heart is totally with them. Yes, I am aware, even during my month-long retreat this past month, of what's going on in the US. Of course, I'm aware. That's why I practice. That's why I gave up everything to become like this, because I'm only and forever going to work for you, all the way up to enlightenment and beyond that, until beings find their own freedom. There's nothing that matters more to me, because of the transformation I know in my heart of hearts has happened on this path. So thank you to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and thank you to all my Dharma sisters and brothers. I wish you all happy Losar Tashi Delay. Anyone else have anything to share? We've gone over a little bit, but I'm being wisely selfish now, enjoying to be with you all, because I thought I'd be back in Maine a long time ago, but we never know how long things will take. So enjoying to see you. Two other little short announcements before I yield finally. Sunday morning, we have another main moment, little time together. And then a group in Colorado, Carla, you know, David and Elaine, the Bodhi Mind Center that they run out there, they've requested me to give a teaching. So I'm going to teach on the 8 verses of mind training. And Heidi mentioned Lojong, this giving and exchanging. So transforming the mind to benefit others. And the theme of the main moment, actually, Heidi, is the unity, you know, the unity of humanity. And so main moment is happening your time Sunday morning, from 9 until 10. And then the teachings, your time.
I think it's 11:30 to 1 or 11 to 1:30, something of that nature. But it's all on the website. So let me put that in a link for you so you have it.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Andrea, for keeping the website so nicely up to date.
Thank you.
And thank you, precious teacher, for such a great evening. I'm really filled tonight. So I think that was such a nice coming together, and thank you. Very grateful.
Oh, my pleasure.
I also want to say thank you for the prayers for the Cree. We had our first pole erected in the mountain Maine woods. So without having the referendum go through, they're already starting to build the thing. Yeah. The corridor.
Yeah.
So more prayers.
Yeah. Well, more prayers. And then, you know, we have to say, may all beings be free from suffering and released. And yes, to be engaged, but to recognize what's happening on the material plane is really not as important as making those great insight and transformations as you are making on the unity, so that we don't get into discord around power companies and native peoples and black peoples and white peoples and all this dualistic thinking. We have to think, may all be happy, may all be free. May we all attain Buddhahood for the benefit of every sentient being, which transcends all those differences and agrees that our mind is spacious enough to say, well, okay, I have this feeling about a situation, but maybe I don't know what the bigger lesson is. Maybe I really don't know, and that we have to hold spaciousness with wisdom for things to reveal themselves. Lori left me a message once that said the secrets reveal themselves all in good time, and that's proven to be true.
So how can we work with people that are so full of hate and just want to do that? That's all they want to do. How can we help them to do this instead? And
well, that's a great question, Heidi. The first thing is stay out of their way. You know, just stay out of their way, because we cannot change anyone else's minds. You know that. The real work is just to change our own minds. So first of all, stay out of the way of people who are looking for a fight. And a lot of people, I think, especially my feeling about the States right now, a lot of people are looking for a fight. So stay away from that energy. Don't agree to engage in that level of thinking. It's very negative. It's like a force that's trying to suck energy from the planet right now by creating this kind of division, because there is power in that. There's a negative power, but it still is power. So stay away from that. Secondly, plug into the truth, the white light, the universal love, universal compassion, universal joy of your heart meditation, the one that you came up with. And you stay grounded in that so that no matter what you encounter, you remember, the truth is right here. You don't have to give it to anyone. You don't even have to speak it to anyone. Don't judge others who are not there with you, but rejoice that you're there. So when you stay centered and when you rejoice in that deep truth that we all know is the deep truth, we're creating much, much more light and love in the planet. And we don't have to have any conversation about that. We just have to keep our consciousness unified with that. We just need the consciousness together all the time, never broken. Actually, the symbol we use is the Vajra, indestructible mind. Bliss, compassion, the wisdom of emptiness, the Buddha nature. How we bring these together, nothing can break them. So our practice is really keeping our mind unified with compassion, bliss, with the wisdom of emptiness. And wisdom of emptiness means people's minds who think negatively come together because they don't know any other way. That's what ignorance means. But we're not ignorant, and we don't have to join them in their ignorance. We can start to try to have a conversation through wisdom and compassion that sees unity. We cannot have good affection for others if we still see duality. Okay, so this is a difficulty in the politics. Everyone's still in duality. You can't bring transformation like His Holiness the Dalai Lama until you come yourself into unity. That's why His Holiness can be effective. He does never take sides. He's never taking just the Tibetan side. He's never belittling and berating the Chinese. He's in unity. Our own precious Dalai Lama, Kenzo Rinpoche, Jetsu La, she never takes sides. The ones that are really disturbed right now, we have to just say mantras for. We have to say, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Swaha. So their obstacles, Tara can also help them swiftly remove them. As you said, Heidi, maybe, like the shaman man who's eating organic food in jail might think, geez, at least they're being kind and bringing me the organic food, but why was I there screaming around anyway? Maybe he'll get some epiphanies having to sit by himself locked away. Maybe he's wise, maybe he has some wisdom to think, geez, I did show up, but President Trump really didn't stand by us. Like maybe there will be some transformations. We don't know, but it's really, that's none of our business. But still, we can hope, we can pray, because the Buddha said, everyone has Buddha nature. So judging them and discounting them doesn't help. So you stay centered in your own connection to your Buddha nature. That's the best way you can help.
Well, it occurred to me, Ken Rinpoche told me years ago, he said, don't go into politics. He says, looked at all my buttons and stuff and said,
So what happened, Heidi? You didn't listen to your root guru. He told you years ago. Even the Buddha said his practitioners are not allowed to be in politics. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave up politics. He was the full leader of his whole country. He converted it to democracy and stepped out so he could just be the spiritual leader. So maybe think about that for this Losar coming year.
Well, I am.
I rejoice. Take the buttons off. Take the buttons off. Just put a flower button there, Heidi. Just a flower and a little nothing politics. Take the buttons off. That could be your practice for this year, Heidi. Oh, I rejoice. Purification. Heidi's taking the buttons off. Yes. I'll tell Rinpoche. If you take the buttons off, I will tell Rinpoche.
I will. But I do want to say that the thing that occurred to me while watching all of this mayhem going on is like, if I had gone into that path of doing this representation type of thing, if I were to have been elected to be in that place, I mean, I feel meditative and blissful in those places, believe it or not. And but I also was lobbying for some things back in 1996 that I don't want to talk about on recording. But But the thing that occurred to me is that if that had been the path that I had chosen, that I may have ended up dead and not being in the position that I am now to be in this ability to see this and this and this and this to be able to help make a difference. And I know that I'm supposed to be here for the new earth paradigm, and and getting stuck into that stuff is not so good. And I'm realizing
No,
that
it's
now.
not so good. It's not good at all. So it's good to
Right.
completely, that's a great insight, Heidi, is staying out of duality for this year and not taking sides. It doesn't mean that we don't have commitments to like green living and healthy environments. It doesn't mean that, but we really shouldn't be expressing taking sides too much, because these things can be twisted, even when you never say anything negative, like His Holiness never says anything negative, and China still puts out a lot of, bad press about His Holiness and these things. It's just best to stay focused on the things that enhance your happiness and then bring you the most joy. Hi, Graham.
And I want other people to be able to talk too, but I do want to share the fact that like in times when you feel like you're so frustrated, just take a pause and say, like Ken Rinpoche taught me in the Matador van in Boat Gaia, I think it was Boat Gaia, somewhere in there, saying now's the time to practice patience.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay. So the patience is a good theme to maybe wrap up on. Patience is shanti in Sanskrit. Shanti can be peace or patience.
Oh.
And patience for this year, it's the year of the iron ox. So as I said in the greeting, the ox is kind of a very steady, diligent animal. We still see them plowing the fields many places in India. And the ox completes its task without giving up. It just is steadfast, keeps going. It's very gentle, actually. It's very big and heavy, very powerful, but very gentle. And patience for this year, recognizing the value of tolerance and perseverance, I aspire to let go of getting my own way, cutting corners, and being narrow-minded. So we can just think of that as our patience practice. Just aspire to let go of getting my own way, which means often we have ideas about what's right and what's wrong, but instead we can say, I'm going to practice ethics and values, and I hope everyone else will, but I'm not going to worry about what everyone else is doing. I'm just watching my own body, speech, and mind. So as the Buddha said, when you're with others, guard your speech. When you're alone, guard your mind. That's it. If we can, those two practices. When you're with others, guard your speech, which means, I'll tell you, friends, out of the last 12 months, I spent 4 months in solitary retreat in complete silence. It's blissful, noble silence. You can maintain noble silence even with all your children. You can maintain noble silence even with your workmates. And you can find in that silence that you're completely held, completely embraced. As a matter of fact, the Buddha said, before you speak, consider whether what you're about to say enhances the silence or not. And so I learned in these 4 months of the last 12 months that I lived in noble silence, nothing can enhance it. Really, nothing can enhance it. So we can find that wherever we are. Hi, Cole.
Yeah.
We finally have our heat back. We have someone working on our furnace.
Oh my gosh.
The control box went. So we
Oh.
have
Oh
heat.
no.
I don't
So
know.
Doreen, does that mean you couldn't use even the gas, the backup gas?
We don't have gas.
What was that?
I mean, the propanes?
No, because we have electricity. We have electricity, but it was the furnace. That
Oh, I
the
see.
control, the
Oh, so it
control
put back.
box,
I see. I understand. It didn't
yeah,
help. It
the
didn't
control
help.
box in the front. And so we have
Oh,
someone,
I'm so sorry.
we have
Okay.
someone down there now. He's in the basement and Cole's going down. He's
Tare, tu tare, ture,
I
swaha.
know.
May it swiftly resolve.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say they fixed it? They fixed it?
Yeah, he's just fixed it now. Yeah.
Oh, good. So
That's
Tara
why
came.
I've been on and off because
Okay.
it's been crazy here.
That's okay.
Aw.
We're happy that it's all resolved for you
Yeah,
because
it's
that's not a
mighty
good
cold.
feeling.
It's mighty cold here.
It really
Yes,
is.
yes.
Yeah, it's not a good night to be without heat.
No,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's coming back on. May you be cozy and well for the rest of the evening.
Degrees now. What? It's 7 degrees outdoors. So
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Not
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 good,
not in
not
our
good.
house. No, not in our house.
But it's not cold enough. You don't have your hats on indoors. Often we have our hats on in our rooms here at the nunnery.
right.
Usually we have our hats. I have my sleeve for my robes, but after this, I'll put my sweater back on. Losar Tashi dele Karlala. Sonam Lamola. Somo
And
Lamo.
Lucy. Oh, Andrea.
Lucy La. Janet La. Andrea La. Meg La.
Thank you so much for all of your work, Andrea, to help make all of this possible, for doing all that communicating for us.
Of course, and you need to know that Janet actually does quite a bit of public communication. She's the one who sends out all the newsletters. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's not just me. I couldn't do it by myself.
Thanks, you two.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate
Okay,
it.
everybody, have a nice evening and see whomever maybe makes it on Sunday. If you are interested in the course on Sunday, Bodhi Mind has offered it to Tashi Gatsel. Just go on, I think, on our website. How did we, anyway, we set it up. There's a nice, Andrea put a nice notice there. And it's 4 Sundays. It's going to be on 4 Sundays for 2 hours on the 8 verses of mind training. And you'll meet the people from Ken Rinpoche's community in Colorado, because this is a connection with Rinpoche out there. So you don't have to make all 4 of them. It's recommended if you can, but if you can only make a few, then join if you'd like. It's the next 4 Sundays consecutively starting on this Sunday.
Oh,
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Here.
Be well.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday.
Tashi Delay, happy Losar.
Yes, happy Losar.
so sorry.
Have a good night.
Night. Thank you.
Thank you.